Hey everybody, welcome to another iteration of Melanated Men's Health Association. I am Studi 2 Groovy, or you could call me Stefan, whichever one you feel more comfortable doing. And today we're going to be talking about a very, very important topic pertaining to your mental health state, especially in these very trying times, in these transformative issues that's going on. So before we get started, I want to introduce, some gods that's in the building, some fellow melanated men who want to speak their mind today. We have Ken Sean, who is a holistic teacher, and Blue Regard, who is an amazing artist. Would you guys like to say something to the audience?
Peace to the people.
Ken Sean? Okay, I don't know what's going on with his. But okay, so let's get into it, all right? The first topic that we're going to talk about today is how your teacher limits your growth. And what I mean by that is as we fall in love with the information given, we tend to fall in love with the teacher, with the orator. And that's a very dangerous thing because if you are following somebody else's progression, you yourself may not grow, and your growth may depend on where their consciousness is taking them instead of you building your own. And I feel like it's very, very important to keep your own identity. Like as you're learning from somebody, keep your identity. Don't try to absorb yourself into their frequency, because the information that they're giving led them to be the person who they are. But that doesn't mean that is supposed to be your path. You're supposed to absorb that information and apply it to your life, not try to transfigure your life into the individual that you're learning from. That is a dangerous precedent to take, because they might be a scammer. They might not know they might be giving false information, or they might take their projection of themselves and take it into somewhere where you don't fit. And the point of learning is not to become the teacher, but it's to become a teacher yourself. And now I will stop on that. And Blue, I saw you unmute your mic, so you can go ahead and expound on that sentiment.
Yeah, the biggest thing I want to say is you shouldn't try to completely emulate your teacher, is because you're going to inherit all of their strengths and their weaknesses. And I say that because I've seen it happen multiple times. Like even in art, like whenever Aang was trying to teach whenever Aang was trying to learn firebending, he burnt Katara to the point where he didn't want to do it at all. And that was basically the same thing that John went through. He basically seen the pinnacle of his rage and didn't like that aspect of himself and chose not to firebend at all, up until the point that he eventually chose to tutor Aang.
And I like that example because if people remember, he ended up hurting Katara because he didn't respect the power of that fire, because like Blue was saying, he was just emulating what he learned. He didn't transmute it into something that would benefit his way of thinking. He just did it willy-nilly and ended up hurting those who meant the most to him. So that is actually a awesome example. Ken Sean, is there anything you would like to add to that? Oh, and another thing too. I'm gonna remove this until he's ready. Another aspect to remember is, like, you might absorb beefs with people that you never met, you might miss out on information that you didn't even learn for yourself yet. You might, I just feel like you limit yourself to whoever your teacher is. And even if you have multiple teachers, you are still absorbing their consciousness. So I feel like you should take a fast on information. And actually, that's the next thing I want to talk about is information overload. If you're constant, and this is coming from somebody who you see that I just put out lectures like it ain't nothing. And I've showed some of my books in my collection and things of that nature. Like, I'm a reader. I love information, but there is a such thing as overstimulation. And if you overstimulate your brain, it becomes stress. And if you're stressed, you can't even absorb and comprehend what you're reading. Like if you or reading or watching, like if you absorb too much information without contemplation, without thinking, without writing it down, without comparing and contrasting what you've already know, then it's lost and you're just overloading your brain and you're not even. It's kind of pointless. That's how like sometimes that's one of the reasons why I never speak on something that I don't know for sure. I never reiterate what I've heard, because if I'm just listening to information all day and then I'm trying to remember what somebody said, it's going to make it seem like I don't know what I'm talking about, because it's so much information that got absorbed that I don't even know how to explain what I know, because my subconscious is still breaking down and trying to figure it out. So when you just constantly listen to people and lectures and you're not taking the time to take a break from that person and from that information and just, chop all that information up and make it into a mental salad for yourself, then, you're lost. You have all this information for no reason. And brothers, you can expound on that.
Well,
you
go
can
ahead
go.
and quote one of the greats. Don't get lost in the sauce. But one must have the sauce.
Exactly. Don't get lost in the sauce. Like, because you'll mess around and have an identity crisis for real.
Yeah, and it'll basically like keep you from somewhat expanding what you want to learn in that aspect, because you're gonna kind of sort of want to get what you started with perfect, so to say, or get it how such and such did it or how they showed it to you before you move on to the next step.
And you become that math teacher that didn't understand that just because you didn't follow that equation, that doesn't mean your answer is wrong.
Facts.
Because
I was
in school no, go ahead.
Yeah, I was that student. I didn't necessarily follow the equation process that they set up or that they taught us. I pretty much looked at it and figured it out my own way. But like you said, you do have those teachers that want you to map out your process and basically show your work. But see, I'm just now coming to the realization recently that a lot of things that I do mentally is not tangible coming from my son's son. And you can go ahead, Kenshawn.
It's nothing really I can add to that. I totally agree. Yep. Nothing. That's pure facts.
So the next thing we're going to be talking about is let's just skip to the big one. Balancing your mental state between worldly issues and your personal reality. And I'll bring this up because so much stuff is happening in this world. A lot of the frequency of the planet Earth is, I feel like it's split between fear and acceptance. It's split between people becoming mechanized mentally and physically, and people going into their spiritual state. And we are the line between that. There's there's two different consciousness. There is the 3D world and the 4D, and we are right in between, and we're absorbing each frequency. And depending on our state of mind is how we deal with the stimuli. And I want to say this. This is something very important. We are not the feelings. We experience the feeling, but we aren't the feeling. For example, let's say you're just a normal, average American person. You don't know about spirituality. You just know Jesus Christ and the devil, right? If you sit there and watch the news all day, and they're just talking about all this turmoil, you are going to feel anxiety, stress, fear, all that stuff, right? You're going to be in survival mode. But what you say is, I'm scared. You don't say, I feel scared. I am experiencing fear. You say, I'm scared. So you are personalizing an emotion. In all emotion, just like all time, just like all situations, are finite. They aren't infinite. You're the same, just like how we're talking right now. In a snap, we will no longer be online. We will be going to our individual lives as if we were never on this live in the first place. And the only reason why we will know that it happened is because our memory bank in this digital memory bank. So my happiness that I'm feeling right now, something I might hit my toe and I might feel pain, but does that mean I am pain? Does that mean I am happy right now? No, we are a neutral into our souls. This is the dope part though. Our souls is a neutral entity. We are able to pull in and dispel whatever frequencies, whatever energies, whatever feelings we choose to. So we have to stay balanced. We have to, I'm not saying not listen and learn and understand what's going on in the world, but are you a virus? Or does he have it? Or is it just present in his reality? Because once you say I am, like let's get biblical with it. What is the quote? I am that I am. Think about that for a second. I am that I am.
Yes.
So once you tell the universe, I am sick, your body responds, your mind responds, your reality responds. And if you say, I'm dying, you are going to absorb that. If you say, I hate my job, the universe is going to give you every reason to keep that going because that's the reality that you're asking for. So I feel like we need to, I'm bringing this up because we have to be the middle way, neutrality. Neutrons can absorb positive and negative electrons. So we have to be neutronic in our reality.
That's fine.
I'm going to let y'all take it from here.
If I can respond first, what I've noticed, that's outstanding information. And what I've learned over the past like year and a half, specifically when it comes to why the frequency is so important. Um, and the reticular system, which has to do with the frontal lobe or fight or flight, like you mentioned, and how do you retrain your body? Well, first of all, a lot of people say meditation is smoking herb. A lot of people say meditation is um, doing yoga, breathing. Well, when it comes to nature and being in tune, you literally supposed to match the frequency of Mother Earth. It takes 90 days for Mother Earth to breathe in and 90 days for Mother Earth to breathe out. When you take in the constellations and you and the attributes therein and you match them with your characteristics, this highlights the gifts. But the most important thing is in meditation and in breathing, you are able to go into these gifts, tap into them, manifest, and be a better version of yourself. This is what the purpose of breathing or meditation is. So when you calm down to a certain amount of frequency, you calm down to the frequency of Mother Earth, your heart rate, everything. And so that is my experience on that example you gave, and how to be able to realize that everything is finite. You are living in the now, and you are observant from looking from above, while everything is now, and what was now is now in the past.
And before I let Blue go on, I want to add this too. And this is something my uncle taught me, and I'm realizing with the information as well of what I learned that is true, is that even as I speak, that's the past. It takes time, even if it's a microsecond, it still takes time for the sound waves to go through your ear canal and go through the eardrum and then process through the brain. That takes time. So everything is in the past. Even it takes time for us to absorb the sunlight and the photons for us to even see the images and configure the colors, because colors are the absence of whatever you see. So it's always time processing. So we are everything is the past. This conversation is the past. The last word I said is the past. Like the now, like we don't, I'm gonna be honest, we don't even, the fascinating part about it is that we never really experienced the now, because everything is the past.
Right. And I
You
think
can't, so
someone broke
literally
it
you
down.
can't, hold on. So literally, and this is the last thing and I'll shut up. So you literally can't live in the past, because every millimicro quart, whatever way that you measure time on this planet, on this earth, in this reality, it's already happened.
That's right. Blue, I don't know if you want to go say something to that.
No, these are whole facts, and I'm gonna just go ahead and keep bringing animation back into it. The Flashpoint paradox. Literally, every single thing that they did influenced the future, either in a abrasive or conducive way, or a neutral way. Something neutral being uh, Harley Quinn is not necessarily a villain. She's more on the vigilante side. Something that's on the abrasive side, Bruce Wayne's mom's the Joker. Like you gotta weigh the, not necessarily the consequences. You gotta weigh the effects of the causes that you're influencing. You gotta basically look at the equation, see what the outcome is going to be, and then put the proper pieces in place for your desired outcome.
Right. And I think that's why when we look at our ancestors, they were scientists. And so they were able to make an equation for life to have natural morale, as opposed to a white man's laws and all of his ways of holding down individuals and, favoritism and capitalism. Our ancestors' laws was natural morale. And so you had to pass levels, you had to do the work, you had to earn the abilities, and then in turn the recognition.
That's facts. Especially because, well, I'll put it this way, and I keep saying this, and I'm going to keep bringing it up. The reason why we are in the state that we are in right now is because the biggest spell was put on the planet. Not only do they have these wicked institutions on the chakra points of the earth, but the concept of Satan ruling the planet and the mark of the beast and all these types of things, that was a virus into the human consciousness. That was when that was inserted in the unified field. People have been accepting that reality before we were born, before we were, even if you believe in if you believe in reincarnation, and we have been here before in some way, shape, or form, our ancestors, our past selves got that information. So that's just being recycled. Remember, we said that because we're a neutral component, we are able to absorb anything. So that is a negative outcome. When we watch these dystopian movies, how they keep depicting the future as either robotic or dystopian and destroyed and stuff like that, as we keep absorbing that information on a global scale, we are all making that a reality. But if nobody implanted that thought, if nobody said that there is a Satan, then there would be nobody to blame for your negative feelings and thoughts and actions. So you would have to be neutral and accept that comes from within. That is that dark energy that I can tap into, that is on me. That's not on an external entity. I'm doing this. The devil ain't tell me to do something. I decided to do that. But because they know how to tap into, the spiritual realms to bring those entities that make suggestions, because remember, they say that the devil whispers in your ear, but the devil is not responsible for your actions. So even the evil spirits that come and vibrate, especially when you're drunk and your energy field is lower, so the spirits come in, you are still making that decision. And if we understood that, and if we understood that concept, that even if you're a poor man got two, I'll put it this way: a homeless man got two choices. They can two homeless men can stand on the corner right outside of and this is my last example, then I'll shut up and let somebody else go. There can be two homeless men, right? One is begging and he's buying alcohol and a meal for the day. The other homeless man is saving up his money until he can buy a cart, and then he's going to go to the grocery store and buy some oranges, and then he's going to sell oranges. It's two different people. But because they're neutral, they decide which reality they want. One of them has accepted that I'm homeless and I feel good when I drink, so I'm going to drink and eat when I can. And the other one said, I am in a temporary state, and as long as they're giving me money for free, I am going to transmute that and transform that into a better reality for myself.
And I agree. This is when you said that, I thought about the days of the calendar and the Greek names and the Greek meanings behind these days, and why our men, particularly today, are in their lunar energy. And that's lunar energy you're talking about, when you're not even able to say, okay, I want my rum. I want my, I'm on the corner. I'm not doing it. I'm a bum, but I'm just going to stick to washing the car and maybe bagging and rum. And so I'm gonna just generate my addiction. And while the other person comes out of the addiction, literally, it's one step at a time, and it may be slow, but they're changing the reality that they was disappointed of being in and shameful, because you need all of these things to make you do action, right? And sometimes it doesn't hit you as early as others, and that's why when your frequency is low, and then here comes Tuesday. Tuesday is the day of war according to the Greek. And so we all know that means now most every day, that means the Mars energy, which deals with war. And so that means now the dust from Mars is being sprinkled down, and this happens every day. Different days have different chemicals that come from different planets, because that's what we made of. But it affects us once we're under the influence of what happens here in the West. It affects us differently. And then I think from a chemical, from the planet standpoint, and from knowing your existence once again, and keeping above frequency levels where you're not lunar, but you're more solar. You're more in the solar part of yourself. And like the example you showed, a gentleman who slowly but surely came out of his bad reality and in progress himself. And sometimes people, like Shekinah Richardson, mom died. She got the news late. She found out on the media, all these depressions, and she, maybe we don't know why she did what she did, but and we're not even, we're not in any position to say, what can you do to cope when something hits you that hard, right? But being in the lunar, right, you're not able to secure the bag now. You're not able to pay off all your coaches. You're not be able to come home with the goal and whatnot. So your choices that you make, society is still going to put you in a class, but it doesn't not necessarily mean that you use the lunar energy, because that's a plant made in the ground naturally. And that's all I would say to that.
Right. Blue, I am excited to hear how do you feel about this, especially because you are becoming a master in zodiacal information and things of that nature. So I really look forward to hearing what you have to say about this.
I was exactly about to go that route. Thank you, Kenchon, for expounding upon the energies of the certain days of the week, because that's pertinent to the vessel in which you gonna guide your day through every day. Monday is the moon, Tuesday is Mars, Wednesday is Mercury, Thursday is Jupiter, Friday is Venus, Saturday is Saturn, and Sunday is the sun. So I want to also bring back that analogy that Studi brought up about the two different types of folks living in their lunar energy. The first example, who's just gonna go get them something to drink, or make sure they got something to eat, they're experiencing that turmoil for the first time. So they need a way to cope. They need to make themselves comfortable. They're trying to basically hold their reality together. That second person, they've already had their reality broken once or twice. So they're comfortable with the hardship. They understand that it is a hardship, but it's also a lesson. So they're taking what they're learning and applying it and basically giving them a leg up to get out of said situation. So they're not necessarily letting the lunar energy win, but they're winning with that lunar energy, if that makes sense.
I like that. I like that. So no, go ahead, Kenshawn. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's facts.
Yeah. So what techniques can you guys think of that will help with us staying neutral? Because I, for one, want to say, and I'm gonna be the biggest advocate. Y'all gonna get sick of hearing me talk about this, but I feel like water fasting is a good way to neutralize your body and
Rules.
mind. And when I say neutralize,
Rules.
I don't mean destroy it. I'm talking about balance it. Because not only does drinking water, well, no, okay, I'll say this much. Fasting for a period of time, period. Fasting off of electronics, fasting off of reading, fasting off of people, fasting off of food, just being still. Stillness breeds life. There is a reason why there's an incubation period. There's a reason why bears and other animals go into hibernation. There's a reason why we sleep. Stillness breeds life.
Right.
Overstimulation does exist. Too many lights, too many colors, too much information, too many ideas, too many opinions.
Yep.
We absorb on a daily basis. We can't even drive without seeing a billboard, without seeing advertised. Even the birds agree with me.
Hey,
You
man.
like there's too much stimulation. So fasting from stimuli is, I feel like, is a great way to restabilize, to neutralize your mental state, your body, your mind, your spirit, because toxins aren't just in the body. We don't when we say when we say somebody's toxic, we're not talking about, you know, you're toxic because you ate chicken today. No, we call them toxic because all the information and the food and their mentality is displaying negativity. And the only way that you can change your mind is if you change your intake, and I will shut up there and let one of the fellow gods up here expound on what I just said.
Yeah, I was thinking when you mentioned as you was going on, I was thinking, wow, when is the last time a boy wrote a letter on a table, folded up, put it in a letter, and mailed it to a girl, and she had to be still and wait. And what we're getting into now is the instant gratification, likes, comments, OnlyFans, and it's this entitlement and this instant. Everything is instantly. So I can guarantee you, the boy who sat on that table and wrote that letter to that girl, he has just amount as excitement is the girl who knows she would be receiving that letter in the mail, and both have to be still and wait. So it's still better to be still than to get instant gratification, women and men. It's still better to not give instant gratification and wait.
That's facts. Blue, is there anything you'd like to add?
As far as coping mechanisms go, one of my biggest ones would be music, of course. Music is life. Music is us. Even if you break it down to its simplest forms, to just instruments, or you can even go to binaurals. You can, what I like to do personally, I like to listen to rain sounds. I like to listen to thunderstorms, and then turn every light off, light a candle, and basically you're sitting with just that influence of thought, because you're not listening to nothing but comfortability. So music, I would say, number one. And then like you said, basically going on a fast from some things, but not necessarily like topics or aspects of life. Like, even take it as far as sensory deprivation. Like, just sit down and close your eyes for a minute. Just listen to the world. Like, just like, it's all coming full circle. Being still, chilling out, taking a break. Like, sometimes you gotta just press pause real quick.
Because think about it this way: when you overstuff. Okay, Kenshawn had to go, but thank you, fellow God, thank you, brother, for coming in and talking with us and the people.
Peace,
Let's see ourselves as a washing machine, right? And the clothes that we put in the washing machine is the stimulations that we decide, the music, the shows, our friends, whatever we like to do. If you overstuff a laundry machine, what happens when you turned it on? It gets to shaking and rattling and going out of control, unbalanced. That is how we're walking around here in this earth, on this earth. We're literally overstuffed. We're like, figuratively, I should say, we're overstuffed washing machines, and even though the clothes get washed, it's still turmoil. It's not balanced. It's not calm. We are so used to the frequency of survival being in our base 3 chakras that peace seems to be what we think is temporary. The feeling of happiness, the vibration of contentment, of peace, we deem that as temporary, not the other way around. And hold on, we have another guest in the building, another God in the building. What's up, Swish? We got the Swish Doctor in the building,
bless. What's good, brother? How you doing,
What's good with it, bro?
Nothing, man. I'm just popping in to see what's going on, man. I've been a little out of tune, so I wanted to, drop in and see what the God was on today, man.
I feel that I respect and appreciate that. What we're talking about right now at this second is balancing your mental state between worldly issues and your personal reality.
Ooh, okay. May I chime in? Do I have the floor?
Yeah,
I don't want to interrupt
please
you. I
do.
was flowing. Okay.
No, go. Blue went, I went. It's your turn.
Bro.
That's a great topic, man. And you know what's funny? I'm calling in right now because I'm actually doing some decompression myself. I'm out here on the water right now, just kind of watching the waves just flow in.
With the water spirits.
Getting back in tune. Yeah, man. Getting back in tune with Mother Earth and her naturally occurring, her natural cycles and things like that. There's a lot of information overload. Straight up, we getting bombarded left, right, up and down. Whether it be, from this, I don't want to say it on the platform. We all know this bug in the air. Whether we talking about that, whether they're distracting us with the reopening, mask on, mask off. Now we're hearing rumblings of there's so many things going on. We've been hearing rumblings of issues. Issues in the White House is like, I'm sorry, choked on some spit, y'all. But the main thing is that there's information overload. So one of the things I like to do in my life that just kind of decompresses this, get out here in nature. I'm at a beautiful park. I just finished grounding a little while ago, just walking around barefoot on the grass. And people might think that these are like trivial things, but when you go through the motion of some of these techniques, you see what the ancients and ancestors saw. You saw what they were getting out of it. They were quite literally connecting with the rhythm of the day. For example, we just had 4th of July yesterday. If you're in America celebrating, happy holidays. But I like to get into what our ancestors do on these holidays. So I looked into what we were doing for the 4th of July, in ancient Egypt, and we were getting into them serious. So whatever their issues or whatever their goals or their hurdles of the day, they would use these these cosmic alignments to get downloads, to get information, to get, divine inspiration so that they can attack those problems in real life. And I think a lot of times we use spirituality to escape our issues, when we should be reaching into it to try to overcome our issues. So, and like I said, in reference to the information overload, there's a lot of things that we should be doing right now. We should be, number one, filtering our intake of information. We should be filtering it, because I think that we all know, we've all come up with the facts now. This thing was manufactured, okay? A lot of this was all for nothing. A lot of it is a trick. But the one thing, once I got over the kind of emotional aspect of, they took our freedom, they tricked us, so many people are kind of dying. At the bigger picture here, why? Nothing is for no reason. You know why? Another thing that could distract us is the Great Reset. That's a good why for all of this. The great financial reset, that is, them trying to move a lot of resources around. And it gets overwhelming when you try to find yourself in all of this. So what I did and what I do is I stepped back and saw how this pandemic treated me personally. We have our group narrative. We know what the peace brothers, peace sisters. We have our narrative. We know what the group think is. We know that, again, this is contrived, manufactured. Now that we got that understood, where's this? How can we come up? A lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs, such as yourself, have emerged from this pandemic,
Yes.
on their own 2 feet. A lot of people getting fired was a blessing, because then they got to take that unemployment, which was basically you being able to be paid for free time. Now you get to do whatever it is that you're passionate about in your home. Now, we had a lot of time to ourselves to, cultivate our spirit and cultivate our skills. And to be honest, I feel like a lot of these distractions were placed in our way so that we wouldn't use this time wisely. The pandemic, you could have done one or two things. You could have sharpened your sword. You could have gotten in the gym, gotten in the studio, whatever it is, or you could have binge watched everything on Netflix. You could have been glued to the news. You could have gone the negative. There's a lot of places for you to place your attention. Excuse me, and they give you these things, these markets for you to place your attention on. All about you being able to quiet down your mind, quiet down your spirit, use your discernment to see where should my focus be. And whenever my mind gets too crowded, again, nature, the sun, water, the grass, the elements, man, get into them. Let them heal you, let them recalibrate you so that you can think clearly and get out here and make the proper decisions and kill it. Because we're still in the pandemic, we're still in the Great Reset. They told us last year, man, we're here at least until 2022. All right. So if y'all thought that we were going anywhere before this calendar year is over, just recalibrate. All right. You still have time to get on your square. You still have time to refocus. So please, this brother's a blessing for even bringing this forward, because we're not even talking about how we're being bombarded with all this information. We're not. We're just allowing it to happen, and more events are occurring that we're getting sucked into, and we're getting farther and farther away from what? Ourselves. Mm-hmm. Sit your ass in the house, study, meditate, pray, whatever it is that you've been saying you don't got enough time to do. You still have time. You have at least 5 months. At least 5 months. You still got time. All right, get to it. Go ahead, brother. I don't want to wrap your head up, but that's what was on my mind.
Nah, bro. Thank you for the energy, Blue. Before I get into what I was gonna expound on what he said, would you like to say anything?
No, man, you literally hit every point that we basically was discussing pre-hand. Like, I shake.
Yeah, nah, and it's like, because we were just talking about how we mentioned how it's actually, people are saying that those who took it only have about 2 years. And it reminds me of the, what is it called? What is the biblical event where people supposed to get pulled into heaven or whatever? What is it called?
Rap.
It was the rapture. I personally feel like we are witnessing the rapture, but in reverse. It wasn't that people who left the earth were the chosen ones. It's the people who gets to stay here that are chosen. Because anybody who could be tricked out of their own lives obviously was vibrating at a lower standard. They let their survival instincts, they let their survival hormones take control and not their survival instincts. Because your instincts would have told you that all these ain't adding up. And historically, this type of stuff, like history repeats itself, things go in cycles. Let me think. There was the Spanish flu. Okay, what was the result of that? How did the world change after that? Okay, I'm going to step back and let me just watch all these videos that show after things happen, what was the result? It didn't click in your head then. When you saw the exposed videos, that didn't click in your head. So that rapture is in reverse. It's not who died, it's who got to stay. Because everybody that's going to be here in the future is some type of intelligent, or at minimum are not disconnected from the divine source. Because if you were connected to the divine would have told you in deep inside that
Exactly.
this ain't that.
When I was going to say earlier that DNA would have kicked in and told you instinctively, hey, this ain't organic.
It's two type of shoppers. You either see the cookies and cakes and go, I know that that's good, but it's not good for me, so I'm gonna leave it alone. Or it's the person who just grabs it because they like the pretty picture and they love the taste. And then it's two consumers. I had the feeling that this isn't good for me, but I like the taste, so I'm gonna eat it. But now I feel sick, so now I'm gonna think like either I'm not gonna eat that all the time, or I'm going to stop eating it. Period. And then there's the other shopper who's gonna eat it, feel bad about it, but not make the connection that what they just ate made them feel this way. So that was the great. It's a humanity reset, not just financial. And think about it this way. I don't like it's very Masonic to think of things in black and white, but I have to, the duality of people who are yearning to be embedded with technology and people who are embedding themselves in the spirit. And my uncle always talks about how, I'll put it this way. If Earth is a cell, then on the microcosm and macrocosm, there's a splitting going on. And the old cell dies off. And the new cell that split takes everything that was good about it and keeps it for the next cell, for when it's time for it to split and die.
Oh, bro. What's the name of the show? Invincible. The two twins. That's exactly what you just explained.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So, I mean, those who chose themselves, And like you said, and like we've been talking about, like everybody had a choice. Like everybody was saying, "Stimmy this, stimmy that. I want to get stimulated." Yeah, thinking it's a joke and thinking it's funny, and it's like we're literally living through a historic point in time, and we're on a crossroad. We're in a fork of the road of human evolution, of human thought, of everything. And it's not funny. Like it's not a joke. Like we how many of these religions have we been listening and learning from and being taught that has talked about this time? And y'all, it still ain't clicked in y'all head. That is, I feel like that's a doomsday. I feel like the Bible, Quran, and Torah are spell books and doomsday manuals. And we've been learning and listening and watching. And it's like, yo, dog, we're in it right now. Like we're seeing it. And it's not gonna be physical Satan, it's not gonna be physical demons. It's them acting through you and your actions and your decisions. So I'm gonna shut up because I feel like I kind of went on.
You good. I just want to chime in on what you just said. We know that this thing, the cure, so to speak. We know that this addresses your DNA. We know it does. We don't know to what extent, but we know for a fact it addresses your DNA. No other cure has done this before. So, that being said, we also know through my studies, and through science, we have proven that sunlight, cosmic light rays upgrade your DNA. We have portions and sectors of our DNA that aren't always active and activated and stimulated. But just like Studi just said, we're going through biblical times. We're going through some of those religious times. So what that means is that a lot of these cosmic events are aligned to give you that DNA upgrade, right? This happened a few times throughout history. We didn't just wake up one day and, we're just in the technical revolution. Like the stars made it this way. Remember, there was a time where everybody on this chat probably had like a sidekick, or like the little Nokia, the blue phone, and all you could do is play Snake on it and whatnot. There was a time when we all had those, right? I was in the 8th grade to be specific. I'm 29 now, so in the 8th grade, that was like 2000 and I want to say 2000 like 6 or 2005, something like that, right?
Yep, 2005.
Bro, by the time I got to high school, 06, I still had that same phone. I want to say by 2010, 4 years later, I had an iPhone. Everybody around me had an iPhone. Remember we used to make the jokes, and we still kind of do, Droid versus iPhone and whatnot.
Yeah.
The green message versus the blue message and whatnot. Back in the day, bro, people really didn't care to have these smartphones. It was kind of like you could still hit me on my Nextel chirp. You can hit me on my Sidekick. You know what I'm saying?
Cricket.
Or I got one of the cool phones from Sprint, Verizon, whatever. It didn't matter. You just had a phone. One day we just woke up and it was Apple. That like it was just like that. Now you gotta have Apple, everything. Even if we still have our Galaxies or whatever. Guess what? People don't even talk about those are superior to iPhones. The technology in some of these Microsoft and Google phones and whatnot, they're superior to Apple. And it's just branding with Apple, right? But I say all this to say that when we started to creep into the age of Aquarius and we started to get those cosmic alignments that will bring us out of the Stone Age and bring this technology forth, that's when we started to get, and this happened years ago. We're talking like 1920s and 40s. That's when you started to get your Nikola Teslas, those experiments. That stuff they like to sweep under the rug. The whisperings and the folklore around the Nazis and Hitler about how they were allegedly in contact with interdimensional beings who gave them information that allowed them to use technology that we still haven't brought to the public. You can look these things up, and these things can be seen as like pseudo or like mythical or whatever, but I take everything with a grain of salt, and I try to weave these things together through time. We were supposed to be getting a disclosure, right, about all this UFO activity this last month. They went soft on that because they still can't explain to you what all this stuff is flying around, right, and why it's starting to reveal itself more and more and more. Again, we're not the only beings in the universe. Other beings, other entities, if you will, are getting cues too. Now, the distractions are to keep us from getting in tune with the greater, whatever it is. I don't know if you want to call them aliens. I don't know if you want to call them angel spirits, but there's something bigger than you and I, and it's showing its ass over our heads. And every single day, more and more and more tries to get your attention in some way, whether it's subtle, whether it's speaking to your subconscious, whether it's speaking to the people around you, acting through, things in your life. And like, we are not getting in tune with it because of, number one, if we did take it, your DNA has now been remixed. This is my assumption because I'm not, I'm not that level of science or that level of a scientist. My assumption is that because because of everything going on right now, because this addresses your DNA, there would probably be some kind of blockage preventing you from fully connecting to that higher source. Right now, if that's the case, just like Stoogie said, I feel like there's going to be an event. If this isn't the event, that's going to, push aside a lot of the weak people. They say the meek inherit the earth. I think meek is weak, if I'm not mistaken, I believe. So the weak shall inherit the earth. I don't know if that was written correctly. I tend to agree with you. I think this is a big trap. In stocks and crypto, they call it a bear trap, right? A bear trap or a bull trap is when they basically set you up to wet you up. They let you know, hey, take this thing, get out here. Everything is going to be normal. Don't worry about it. Even though they already told you we in the house until 2022. Even though we just had a cosmic event that we have not had since like the early 1900s or late 1800s or something. I'm talking about that great conjunction last December when black people were supposed to get superpowers. Again, they put a little sugar in the medicine, right? Them superpowers were scientifically a DNA upgrade. You were getting introduced to new cosmic energy. Where the Earth is in relativity to where the other stars and galaxies and whatnot is affects shit on this planet. It does, whether you want to believe it or not. Gravity affects this planet. You can't see it. You have to grasp the fact that other things outside of this have a huge bearing on you. And once you understand that and you attempt to decipher what is influencing you at what time, then you start to become what they call, then you got your third eye open. Now you can navigate this normal world easily. Now you can see when a motherfucker got ill intentions for you. You can step around that. You know what I'm saying? You can almost get intuitive cues when there's danger. Like, shoot, I'll tell you the other day, man, I felt like I was out of tune and I kept asking my ancestors and my spirits, give me a sign. I feel like I'm out of tune. I feel like I'm off balance. Like, if I'm on, give me a sign. If I'm off, give me a sign, but let me know. Nigga, you know what happened? I'm driving down the street, bro, and something told me I was in the left lane. Something just said, get out the left lane, get in the right lane. Got over in the right lane, and a car flew past me, like a near miss, right? Just slid right past me, swerved over, hit the car in front of me, knocked his mirror off, kept it moving up the highway, bro. He ended up like being in a high-speed police chase. He ended up like crashing the car like a mile and a half of the road, getting out and running. And I was like, damn, bro, like, literally, that's the sign I asked for that morning. Okay, you told me get in the right lane, I listened. All right, better. I'm still on point. Now it's up to me to do the work from there on. You know what I'm saying? And the only reason I feel like I was grateful, I'm in a position to receive, like, again, what you would call downloads or any kind of intuition, because I'm no better than anybody else. But the only reason I feel like I'm in that position is because I open myself to it. I'm looking forward, and I'm guarding myself from anything that could put a barrier between me and that energy. You know what I'm saying? And that
Can I interject on that?
One of those barriers.
Can I interject on that? Because today, like, I always see, I definitely understand that, because I always see like angel numbers, which is like pretty much just codes of the universe that display themselves on like clocks, billboards, license plates, whatever. And each number has a specific meaning, a specific vibration. So I see those all the time. And today, because I'm doing my second day of, this is my second iteration of doing my 2-day water fast. And I was thinking, like, I want to fast from technology today. But Spirit told me, just go outside and play basketball. I was just playing. I didn't even feel like playing. I'm just shooting the ball around, and it hit me. Mental stimulation. I went back in the house, got an angel number that said, you cannot do this alone. There are brothers in need. And I'm like, Spirit saying, get online today. And I feel like what we were talking about today is why I wasn't supposed to fast from technology today. Because I promise you, my whole intention was to leave my phone alone, not get online. I wasn't going to do anything. But I listen to Spirit. Like, because Spirit listens to me. And I'll be reminding myself, like, bro, when you think about it, you don't really want for nothing. And you avoid major shit. Like, excuse my language, I'm trying not to cuss on here. I avoid a lot of things because my intuition, my spirit guides tell me, don't go this lane. Like you said, go to the right. Don't take if you miss an exit, do not be mad, because there is a reason that you will never have to know why you missed that exit. Your spirit guides distracted you at that moment for a specific reason. You don't know if a deer might run out of the woods in that lane. You don't know if a cop with ill intentions is looking to mess with somebody today. You don't know. You don't know. You might not even be looking at your gas tank, and you might be low on gas. So if you go off on the side street, you can get some gas. You don't know. So, like, people who are connected, yeah, like, I get, I definitely get it, yo. Like, and you don't get there if you poison your biofield, your aura. You can't be connected to the source if you're so polluted with negativity. And that's not to say that if you are in a bad state that you can't get better, because clearly every day that we wake up, think about this too, because we were talking about time a little bit earlier. We know that our life, or no, this version of life is finite. But if you really count up all of the seconds, all of the days, all of the months we've been on this earth, that is a lot of time. That is a lot of chances to change your life. You could be an asshole today and tell yourself, you know what? I'm going to say hello to 5 people a day. I'm going to give one compliment to somebody a day. That's going to raise your frequency. Like, you have a chance, you have time to change and be on the frequency. Like, people be trying to, all these like doomsday teachers and all that, oh, if you haven't been eating fruit since 1999, your codes is gonna, no, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Your body has mechanisms that if you're an alcoholic and you just stop drinking alcohol, your liver will heal itself without nobody doing anything. It'll naturally heal itself if you just leave it alone. So you have time to change your life. Like, I'm tired of these people with limited knowledge learning something and then acting like if you're not in this holier than thou state at the moment, then you're lost. No, you have a chance. Now, if you took that V, I don't know what to tell you, but if you haven't and you just want to change your life, or you feel that spiritual pull, that frequency pulling at you, that lets you know that you're meant to be better. Because I don't know. I don't want to take over. Let me shut up, man. I don't want to take over. Was there anything you want to add?
You're on point with that. You're on point with that, bro. And just to your point earlier, Spirit is definitely in this lab, because I just want to let those know, like, I had no idea he was doing this. I definitely didn't plan on this. I just came down to the water to, like I said, relax and decompress. It just so happened, like, what I was doing is what y'all are talking about. So, that's just one of those examples of when you're in the right place at the right time, things will align for you the way that they should. And, just to your point just now about how people have to, number one, don't listen to them doomsday people, man. You always have time. You always have time. The longer you wait, the more work you're going to have to do. Like, just being honest, but you always have time to do the work, And, it's harder for some people to get clear. I won't even say it's hard for you to get clear signals. I think we all get the message. I think it's just harder for some of us to interpret it, depending on what's going on in our physical, Like shit, if I'm hungry, like ain't too much I can think about other than getting something to eat right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's a part of fasting is to be able to focus your mind past that physical ailment. You know, but if we give in to it and it's just like, damn, I'm hungry. All right, cool, let me go eat. That's what they have the chemicals for, to keep you hungry, to keep you feeling like, oh, my blood sugar's low. I need to do something. I need to eat. I need to stimulate. Even going to, like, you know, whether it's smoking weed or whether it's drinking alcohol, whether it's doing anything, there's like a itch that's there at some point, and you know, you control whether or not that itch is a craving or if that itch is a calling. You know, you have to figure out what that is in your mind. And it's all about discernment, man. You know, a lot of people want to be high, mighty, and spiritual and whatnot, but like they can't practice basic discernment. So I encourage anybody who's watching this to, if you feel like you're in control, right? So I feel like your followers are probably hungry. I feel like everybody here knows that we're not in control of any of this. If you feel like you're so in control, you know, look at your social circle, even your family. Look at people, your relationship with everybody in your life. Pick out the people who you love unconditionally and pick out the people who you tolerate. And if you can honestly say with a logical mind that I don't really, you know, gain anything from this relationship with this person, I kind of just tolerate them because of circumstance, maybe we work together. I don't know, maybe it's a roommate, maybe it's whatever. You know what I'm saying? If you feel like you're in control of your life and your spirit and you're just tolerating somebody, see if you have the power to cut them off. And if not, or see if you're still going to be pulled by these social constructs. You know, I need to show face. I need to be polite. There's a nice way to tell someone, or there's a nice way to peacefully detach from someone, if that's really what you need. But again, that's one of those messages that we all get. We all may not have the power or the discernment to know whether or not we should act upon those messages, though, because nobody wants to burn a bridge, you know. And nobody misconstrue what I'm saying from disrespect. I'm not saying go out and be like, F you ain't, you know what I'm saying? Nah, but we have relationships that are dead weight to us. We have people that we almost have to step out of our character for in order to interact with. That's not good for you. Dr. Africa said freedom is the ability to be our.
I don't know if he's just frozen for me or frozen, but Switch, we can't hear you if it froze. But just try clicking back in. Huh?
He's frozen on my end too.
Okay. Switch, come out and then come back in if you can, so you can finish. But what I want to add on to what he was saying is like, everybody's speaking facts today. You kind of gotta like, Boo, is there something you would like to add to what he was saying while we're waiting on him to come back while I formulate my thoughts? Because I want to explain this the right way.
I mean, really, everybody's hitting on the same point is basically staying on rhythm, man. Staying in tune with your guys, bro. Like you can't like something that I notice a lot with people is they don't go anywhere without a GPS. Even if they're familiar with where they're at, they're gonna turn the GPS on just so they can mindlessly get to where they're going and know where they're going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like basically like driving on autopilot, but not really.
Right.
like really just literally just going through the motions. Like instead of taking the scenic route or using natural instinct again, like to navigate your way through your instincts or your environment, I should say.
And I encourage this. I encourage everybody to do this, and this is like a scary spell or ritual, I guess you want to call it. I don't know. But what I tend to do is when I'm feeling like too many energies are pulling at me and I don't know who to trust, I ask the Creator. If you believe in Jesus Christ or Allah or whoever you believe in, because I'm not going to disrespect your level of consciousness, ask your Creator to dispel anybody who has ill intentions, and you will be surprised who falls out of your life. When you ask, I'm telling you, ask the Creator to take out anybody or show me or anybody who has ill intentions towards me, please get them out of my life. And the people that you thought you was just so close to will drop off. There are people who I used to talk to every day, and I'm not even talking about just social media people. I'm talking about in my personal life, people that y'all will never meet. So many people I don't talk to anymore that I talk to every single day, that I hung out with, that I smoked with, drunk with. Because I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I have not always been this person. I've always been intelligent. I've always been spiritual, but I was a really negative, sad, depressed person. I used to just drink and smoke my life away. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Even as I was reading stuff, when I was super religious, I also was super depressed and a drunk. I would be considered a drunk. I went to work, I had money, but I didn't go nowhere in life. I literally just worked to drink. And I was reading the Quran and I was reading the Bible. And I was learning a little bit about Judaism. I was doing all that. But once I decided that I don't want this life anymore, and instead of me wishing for death, I wished for elevation, I literally asked the Creator to please take people out of my life that has ill intentions, and they're gone. And as you break down your circle, your crowd, it allows not only for you to vibrate on your own level, but it also brings in entities that's on the next level of consciousness that you are. The only reason why I talk to brothers and sisters the way that I do and the people that I know is simply because I'm vibrating at that level. Like, have you ever been conversating with somebody about the things that we're talking about and they have this fluoride dead stare, or they make fun of you because they don't understand, or they, kind of tune you out? It's a reason for that, because they're either not ready for that, or they're never going to be ready for that, because that's the frequency that they don't want to be on. So I challenge everybody today, even though it's scary, and that's why I said it's a scary ritual, because a lot of people that you think that you love will dissipate out of your life by their own free will. It doesn't even have to be something that you're doing. They'll start making excuses why they can't see you, or things will happen in their lives that won't allow them to frequently be around you. And then y'all will slowly just drift apart. Just like the waves that he's showing, it'll just go away. You won't even have to do nothing. It ain't gonna be no big fight, no big argument, no big drama. No, it'll peace. Leave in peace. So, yeah, that's it. We really, and I want to say this before I let one of the brothers speak again, and then we're gonna end this we're gonna cap it at 1 hour and 30 minutes. We are really in control of our reality. Like, the concept and the fact that God is within us is so important, because everything that's external happens internally first, right? Have you ever been so angry, or you spent a whole week watching fight videos, those compilation fight videos, and then one day somebody just challenged you to a fight? You created that reality, because internally, that's the stimulation that you wanted. That's the vibration you was on. You was mentally thinking about fighting, about aggression, about anger, about throwing hands. So reality gave you that. And it happens the same way with relationships. Ladies, have you ever thought of the man that you wanted? Or have you ever was thinking about somebody that you really like, and then they called you, or you were like, okay, I'm about to buckle down. I'm like, it's like three women in this class full of men. They think they smarter than me. I'm about to go hard on this test. And then you get the biggest grade in the class. Like, we create our realities. If we feel like we can't do, like I said, when I was playing basketball outside, I was missing. I was chasing the ball half the time. Usually I just shoot it, hit the three like it's nothing. I was trash because I didn't really want to play basketball, but because of the external energy, because of the external ancestor told me, go outside, because I didn't go outside for basketball. Basketball was just the medium. I went outside to get clarity. The spirits wanted me to gain clarity, get the photons, get the fresh air. The wind was blowing. Everything was like quiet for the most part. Nobody was really outside. That is what I went out there. But the medium to get me there was the basketball and going, you know. So we really are in control of our reality. It's what we, you know, it's like let nature, let your intuition be your teacher sometimes. Like, because like I was saying earlier too, and I don't mean to just go on a tangent, but our teachers that we choose to have limits our growth. If you only watch one person, like let's say for me, let's say I'm the only so-called conscious teacher out that you know or that you personally like to listen to. You can only gain knowledge based on what I choose to learn for myself and what I choose to give out. And that's very limiting. You limit yourself. It is better to listen to someone and gain the knowledge that they give and then expound for yourself. Buy books that they mention or look up the Wikipedia. Like if I say a neurotransmitter, if I say, dopamine is a neurotransmitter, your job now is to look up dopamine and look up what a neurotransmitter is. And if you really want to know, then you will look up other neurotransmitters. Like that, it can't be, I heard Studi say that dopamine is a neurotransmitter. So whenever I want to give off a fact, I'm going to say, dopamine is a neurotransmitter. Like, you're limited to what I'm teaching you, what I choose to. I could not care about science. Like, if you do that, let's say this, right? Let's say you really, really like crystals, but you only listen to me. The only stimulation of crystal is what you see on my neck. And if I decide that next time I get on live, I'm not wearing no crystals, you don't get that no more. And why should you base your entire your consciousness on me? Because I'm not going to call out no names, but some of these so-called conscious teachers switch back to religion, realign with that consciousness. So are you going to now realign because that was the only person that you decided to listen to? It doesn't make sense. I feel like that's the Jesus effect. We're not here to worship people. Like, worship the information. If anything, worship the information, worship learning, worship knowledge, worship understanding on a spiritual level. Don't worship the messenger, because the messenger will change. One day the messenger may die. One day the messenger might want to do other things. So does that mean that you stop there? Does that mean that you get depressed or have a bit of sadness because your favorite orator doesn't do it anymore? Like, that's a part of being neutral. That's a part of stabilizing yourself. Absorb the information for what it is. Love the person for who they are, but you don't have to be so entangled in your teacher that you lose yourself. Like, you don't want to do that. So it's at 1 hour and 20 minutes. I want to let my guest, say their closing words. I want to make sure that y'all give y'all social medias out. Make sure y'all tell the people anything that's upcoming for y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We will be doing these more than once. So please, be checking in for that. You can support this site personally at grooveywrld.square.site. That's GROOVEY WRLD.square.site. And yeah, go ahead, brothers. I'm about to mute myself. Y'all closing words.
Well, I firstly want to piggyback off of what you said about your teacher can also be limiting your source. Like choose a teacher who you feel like is gonna grow as well as teach you. Choose a teacher who is also a good student, is what I want to get across. Because the best students make the best teachers and vice versa. But yeah,
you gotta learn to earn.
Yeah. Yeah. I ain't got no better way to say it, really. But yeah, man, it's all about the grind, the journey, the experience throughout the journey. Yeah, can't take nothing for granted, man.
In Blue, where can they find your social medias? Like, what are your social medias? And I know that you offer zodiacal services, so please let the people know about those as well.
Yeah, I'm the color spelled with a K _ blue BLOO on Instagram. It's only one underscore on everything else. I don't have any brand new music out, but I do have recent releases. I do perform astrological readings. I just started doing tarot as well. So you can book me to your liking to get a astrological reading.
Sorry, it's not Blue BLUE. Sorry, that autocorrect. It's BLOO, correct?
Yeah, yep.
Okay, Switch Doctor, what you got for us?
Yes, sir. First of all, thanks, man, to both of y'all gentlemen. This was great. This is a great build. I really appreciate stuff like this. As you said, my name is Swish Doctor. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter at I am Swish, SWISH. That is an acronym for Start With Intentional Self-Healing. That's what I do. That's what I encourage others to do. I'm a herbalist, a holistic health coach. If you guys need any services from me, I specialize in these days I keep it simple. I use CMOS to, address a lot of our ailments, a lot of our needs, but also educate beyond that. So if you guys need any assistance with your health, wellness, any herbal assistance, you guys feel free to hit me up. I am Swish. My website is nomorelofing.com. It's linked to my Instagram. I'm only on 1% now, so try to make this super quick. Studio, I love you. Blue Ragard. I'm gonna link in with you as soon as I get to a charge. I'm definitely gonna follow you, man. Everybody who's supporting this channel, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Take care of yourself. Take care of your family, and please keep tapping in with this brother because you got infinite knowledge, and he's great at bringing together, some kings to deliver it to you. So all praise due to you, brother.
Already.
Thank you so much. Okay, I think his phone died. Blue, was there something you wanted to say?
Drink some water.
Facts. Get that water fast. Don't be like me. Be like Stu.
Yeah, want to be like Stu when they grow up.
You hear me? And get that body right, get that mind right. Before we leave, I just want to show y'all the book Fat Club, 4 Pillars of Self-Improvement, written by myself. You know, you can still find it on Amazon, or you can find it. My boy got it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Support.
Yeah.
Support, you know, all that. Actually, can we do something real quick? Can you kind of give an impromptu, just tell them a little bit about what you've read so far?
Well, what I do want to divulge from it, I don't want to give out all the jewels. What I do want to divulge from it is keeping you along with creating a plan for your progress. You also got to keep track of your progress, and not only that, like, take note and congratulate yourself when you reach a milestone. Get your give yourself your flowers if nobody else does. Well, because nobody else will before you do. Like, you gotta let yourself know you're on the right path. Let yourself know that you're doing what you're setting out to do. Like,
Yep.
give yourself that encouragement to continue to make yourself proud.
Because that's a part of accountability, and that's what the book really pushes, is the knowledge of accountability, whether it's negative or positive. You can't look out for an external source to tell you that you look good or you feel
Yep.
Nobody feels your level of happiness, your level of sadness, your level of determination is not measured by those around you. It's measured within yourself. So that's definitely one of the lessons that you will learn if you purchase that book. And you can purchase the book at grooveywrld.square.site. Go ahead and go over there. And that's where I'll be doing my lectures and things of that nature. And because if you want the knowledge, you will always get the conversation for free. But if you want the knowledge, you got to head over to grooveywrld.square.site, because that's where I'll be posting all of my lectures, future and past lectures, because I will be redoing lectures and putting more information in. It's going to be really great. I'm getting the site ready. So right now you will not see any media on there, but you will be able to in the future. And right now you can get the book there. You can look at the services that I provide, and you can also get aromatherapy products as well. So I want to thank everybody who watched. I want to thank everybody who joined. I love when my brothers come up here and spit the knowledge that they know, spit the knowledge that we all need. I always learn something new, and I hope everybody else learns something new as well. Once again, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Anybody that came up here, please support them as well. Everybody that I keep running into are just good natured and do this not for the fame, but for the frequency. So I just encourage everybody to, support people who are here, because we could be doing anything. We could be another channel that just talk about hip hop, or even push the mainstream hip hop. We could be just talking about what the news is talking about. We could be pushing toxicity. We could be pushing anything, but we're deciding to uplift each other and uplift the world as much as we can. So please support everybody that you see up here. And I want to thank the audience, because you guys are always engaging and you guys are always respectful to the guests and respectful to my platform. So I really appreciate that. And I hope that we can all grow together. And please don't ever, ever, ever feel shy to come and talk, because you can always call in, or you can always talk in the comments, or you can always come up here, and I will always respect your level of consciousness, because we are here to build each other up, not break each other down. But I also like to argue and debate. So if anybody got any problems with what I'm talking about, whether it's religion, whether it's race related, whether it's health, anything, please feel free to go in my comment section and say, I want the smoke, because Studio 2 Groovy is ready to argue because I love arguing. I love expounding. I love intellectualism. So those are my closing words. Once again, thank you, Blue, for being in the building. We're going to leave this like we always do, with love and light. Peace.